pledged to block a potential central bank digital currency. Is that about surveillance?
It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. One day you don't have any money in your account. It can be a very dangerous thing. And the other thing that I think is maybe the most dangerous thing out there of anything, because there's no real solution, the AI, as they call it, it is so scary. I saw somebody ripping me off the other day where they had me making a speech about their product. I said, I never endorsed that product. And I'm telling you, you can't even tell the difference. It looks like I'm actually endorsing it.
That's very scary. I agree.
No, because you can get that into wars and you can get that into other things. Something has to be done about this, and it has to be done fast. And nobody really knows what to do. The technology is so good and it's so powerful that what you say at an interview with you almost doesn't matter anymore. They can change things around and nobody can tell the difference. Even experts can't tell the difference. This is a tremendous problem in terms of security. This is a problem that they better get working on right now.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patreons. If you're not a part of the Patreons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And we have Trump on CBDCs. Says they're so dangerous. You may not have any money in your account. And guys, we know he's exactly right. And then he talks about AI, the deep fakes. And those who've been with me from the beginning, we know that Trump said nothing about crypto, nothing about AI, and then all of a sudden presidential race, he's on it. Guys, we know this is all part of the plan. We know the fourth industrial revolution, Trump is going to land us there. Remember, the people are going to fall for the great deception. And then we have the Fed, of course, playing the Hegelian dialectic. Doesn't know the reason for a CBDC. And I did a video earlier showing you all the central banks are planning for the central bank digital currencies. Because we know they're programmable. They'll be able to tell you what, when, when, and how to buy. And you have 3 to 6 months to spend it or poof, it's gone. And then we had David Schwartz talking about the fall of the United States dollar and them accepting a crypto. May not be China, but guys, we know the digital yuan will be the new world reserve currency, and it'll be backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have the central bank leader of the EU, Christine Lagarde, talking about digital currencies. And they have to get in front of it because this monetary system is changing. If you heard from the IMF stating that stable coins and CBDCs are here and they're not going anywhere, that lets you know, people, that we're moving over to a new digital currency. But not only is the economy going to be moving over digitally, they want you to move over digitally. Remember Klaus, the physical, the digital, and the biological, guys. Remember, that's what the C word was all about. They want you to be half man, half machine. Transhumanism is right around the corner. And I've had a lot of Patreon members send me information on us becoming cyborgs. And you know, I've done plenty of videos on it. And we know the sheep are going to fall for it. The same way social media, you would have never thought 60s, 70s, 80s that people be getting fake body parts the way they're doing. The fact is, people were confident. Hey, if I don't have this, that's fine. I'm cool with it. This is what the Most High gave me. Now they're willing to change it. So just imagine if they can become smarter overnight, become stronger, become a superhero that they've always dreamed about. Yes, guys, I know it sounds like a movie. But remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Your thoughts on CBDC?
I mean, as my colleagues at the Federal Reserve have talked about, we are examining it. I'll tell you, my personal bias is I'm pretty skeptical. I keep asking anybody at the Fed or outside of the Fed to explain to me what problem this is solving. I can send anybody in this room $5 with Venmo right now. right? No, seriously. So what is it that a CBDC could do that Venmo can't do? And all I get is a bunch of hand waving. I get a bunch, well, maybe it's better for financial inclusion. Maybe it's better for cross-border remittances. Maybe. Is there any evidence that it is? And, they say, well, what about China? China's doing it. Well, I can see why China would do it. If they want to monitor every one of your transactions, you could do that with the central bank digital currency. You can't do that with Venmo. If you want to impose negative interest rates, you could do that with the central bank digital currency. You can't do that with Venmo. And if you want to directly tax customer accounts, you could do that with the central bank digital currency. You can't do that with Venmo. So I get why China would be interested. Why would the American people be for that?
One of the crazy success outcomes that I could see is I could see a place where the United States says, look, the dollar is not going to be able to hold on to its position of dominance, but we'd rather whatever becomes the sort of next dominant settlement unit not be something controlled by Russia or China or a geopolitical rival. You could almost see them deciding that a cryptocurrency was a less bad outcome for them. And it may be that there's no geopolitical entity that's strong enough to take over the role that the United States had. And so maybe they decide on some neutral asset.
There is clearly an aspiration, a desire for digital payments, much more so than it was in the past. And this is growing. We are now, in the surveys that we've conducted across the 19 members of the euro area, we have more than 50% of the respondents who say, we want digital payments. Well, less use of cash, demand for secure and riskless payments. Where do we stand? We central bankers, we have been operating as a monetary anchor in relation to the commercial banks and the private money. If we are not in that game, if we are not involved in experimenting, in innovating in terms of digital central bank money, we risk losing the role of anchor that we have played for many, many decades. And we have historical examples of period where the central bank monetary anchor was not there, and that precipitated crisis after crisis. That certainly was the case at the time of the free banking in the 19th century. Do we want to go back to those days? Probably not. I would say certainly not from our vantage point, as a result of which we have to respond to the demand for those digital payments in order to maintain the role of anchor that we have.
And the fourth industrial revolution, it changes not only what we are doing, it changes us. It's a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological spheres. It's an integration of those spheres. Just think of sensors planted into our brains. The opportunities are immense.
We're going to start the When Humans Become Cyborg session. To think of ourselves as being able to sort of increasingly adopt a lifestyle where we are continually hooked up to a computer or a machine that helps enhance our capabilities, particularly our intellectual capabilities. So we think about being wired into the internet, getting our brains to upload information. But this represents actually the technology problem, which is we have to solve the wiring problem. And so there are people, like Elon Musk, who are trying to work on closed loop systems where the read of the brain and the input into the brain all happens within the brain in an implant that then is actually a very small implant. To think about collective swarm intelligence. And this is about flying brains, so trying to bioengineer the brain capabilities, for example, of insects. Why don't they smack into each other when they fly? How do they know which direction to take? And the interesting ethical, so I'm an ethicist, I should say, and long ago trained in neuroscience, but one of the interesting things about this technology is that it's an emergent intelligence. So it arguably is a fully autonomous intelligent system. So if you think about this technology one day being 1 million tiny insect-type drones that we release for surveillance, whether it's military surveillance or crop surveillance, what have you. So this is really where I think some of the most interesting areas of this technology. It sort of million brains beyond us doing their own thing, potentially. The ones that we focus on are issues of brain privacy. Do you have a right to privacy of your brain in data? Surveillance, some of these technologies can be used for surveillance. Error, what happens if things go wrong? What happens when you send the wrong electrical current into the brain? And of course, accountability for something like this, or any of our autonomous functioning brains in the world that we create. Who's accountable when something goes wrong?
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting more right now with Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Sonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book Plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.